Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a special one because I am going to be sharing with you my actual real life numbers. So I want to give you guys a little bit more transparency on this channel because I think it really does help when you're able to see what someone else is actually practically doing with their money in real time. These are the videos that I like watching personally on YouTube or TikTok. It's always really validating and I always get like new ideas from it. It's just always so useful. Today I want to also try and do the same here on my channel and share with you guys more openly. Let's start with a quick reflection on where my personal finances are going into 2025. So I spent quite a bit of money last year just trying to settle in the Netherlands. So finding a place to rent, buying furniture for the place when I found it, as well as just spending money on travel that I had already committed to and I was just too excited to let go of at that point. I will admit that was an expense I could have avoided. I just was too excited to not do it, so I decided to do it anyway, and that cost quite a bit of money as well. So I spent quite a bit last year, but I did also save quite a bit as well. Not as much as I was hoping because I decided to go and travel, but I was able to save up an emergency fund again because that was something that I was really focused on trying to get last year. I did not have an emergency fund going into 2024, and I really wanted to make sure by the time 2025 came around, I had a substantial emergency fund. I am someone who is pretty much solely dependent on themselves. Not even pretty much. I am actually solely dependent on myself financially. I wanted to make sure I had an emergency fund. So I really saved up for that last year. So I didn't do any investing. Very painful, but necessary evil. And I managed to save up like a 6 month emergency fund. Originally, I actually wanted a 12-month emergency fund, but I ended up deciding I actually want a 6 month emergency fund after considering a few things. Previously, I did like a 12-month emergency fund because I didn't have any insurance. So I didn't have like a medical insurance. I didn't have anything like that. But now I have medical insurance and I also have household contents insurance, personal liability insurance. I feel a little more comfortable having the 6 month emergency fund, considering all of those things are kind of covered. Another reason is I'm obviously living in the Netherlands and the cost of living here is much higher than it would be in other places that I would happily live in. So if anything was to happen and somehow I lost my job and I wasn't able to find another one, that 6 month emergency fund that's only can last me only 6 months here would probably last me like more than a year somewhere in Asia. And I have lived in Asia and I love Asia. I would absolutely go and live in like Thailand or Bali or something. I don't know. So I'd be more than happy to geo arbitrage if complete disaster hit and I had to relocate for some reason and could not afford to live in the Netherlands. To give you guys context, a 6 month emergency fund for me is 12,000 euros. It doesn't sound like a lot when I say just like 12,000 euros, but it's a lot of money. It took me the entire year to gather up all of that money. So it's a lot of money, and I'm so grateful to have it. Another reality that I am a little ashamed to admit, but going into 2024, I honestly didn't do a lot of financial planning because going into that year, it was my year actually back being like fully employed after spending a year unemployed. So I was just like so happy to just have a job and I was just on recovery mode and just thinking about like settling in a new country and building up the emergency fund. So I didn't really take a lot of time to like really think deeply and plan my personal finances, which I think is a loss for me because I think if I'd done that, I would have probably saved quite a bit more. But hey, we live and we learn, and I did still like save and save quite a bit still, but it can't be perfect, can it? This year, this is one of the things I really want to focus on improving. So I am going back to my tried and trusted yearly budget method. This is what I want to share with you guys today. So income wise, I work a normal corporate 9 to 5 job. So I am going to get paid a certain amount, which is 4,498 a month. So if nothing happens, if I don't get fired, if I don't get retrenched, if nothing happens and I keep my job, then I can expect 12 paychecks this year. So that will be pretty much 99.9999% of my income. This could change. I could start making money from social media again, which would be awesome. So if you want to hire me to talk about your brand, why not? Why not? A little selfish plug there. But anyway, so my 9 to 5 income is pretty much the one that I'll be counting on for the year. I have other passive income, of course, because I do invest. So I receive dividends, which is awesome. But I really don't think about those at all when it comes to like planning out how I'm going to spend my money in a year, because that money just gets automatically reinvested. That's how I've set it up. So it really, for me, does not count, although I do get it. Oh, I almost forgot to also add that I will also get like a holiday allowance. So in the Netherlands, you get 8% of your yearly salary once a year, and that is called like your holiday allowance. You can think of it as like a bonus in a way. It's mandatory, like every company has to pay this out to the employees. So what do I want to do with this money this year? So I have quite a few goals that I want to hit this year. I don't think they're particularly hard. I just need to manage my finances a particular way and make sure that I'm doing certain things, and everything should be fine. So I expect that I should hit most of these goals by the end of the year. Knock on wood, you know. First of all, I definitely want to be a little bit more in control of my money again, because I feel that in the last year or two, I wasn't as engaged with my finances. I was still engaged, but not as much as I would like. So I really want to go back to being very connected with my personal finances. That's a huge one for me, which is why I have already started thinking about what expenses I'm expecting this year, because I don't want anything to really hit me off guard. Of course, it's life. There's probably going to be like 10 different things that are completely unexpected that happened to me this year, that I could not plan. But if there's something that I can actually predict, then I want to be prepared for that. So this is why I am really, really emphasizing my sinking funds as well. So a lot of my financial goals are going to be around sinking funds and saving for specific expenses that I know are going to come up sometime this year. So this includes things like Christmas. Christmas comes around every year. I want to be prepared for it this year because I want to go home to Zimbabwe to see my grandparents and spend time with family. So that means I need to book flight tickets and a bunch of other things. So I want to save up for that. That I've aimed to save like 2,000 euros. I don't even know if that's going to be enough, but I'm really hoping it's enough. It should be enough. It actually should be enough. But that is the amount that I'm saving for that in a sinking fund. So the idea with the sinking fund is if you can predict the expense, like you know that on Christmas you want to do a certain thing or you want to be somewhere, then you actually start saving for that a little bit each month until you get to the point where you need that money. That way it doesn't catch you off guard, doesn't force you to end up spending money that you don't want to spend, like spending money from your emergency fund when it's not necessarily an emergency. Another sinking fund that I'm going to have this year is for my 29th birthday. It was my birthday just a few days ago, and it was so amazing. And I want to be able to enjoy my birthday every single year. And I realized that I never really planned for my birthday. I never really put aside money for my birthday. And I feel like that's really sad. And I want to correct that. So this year I spent a little bit of money on my birthday, but also I had not properly planned for that money. So I think it would be so much better if I just saved for it slowly, and then on my birthday I would just have the money. So this year I'm going to just be saving like 50 euros like each month, and that's going to be like 600 euros by the time my birthday comes around in January next year. That's a goal that I'm really excited for, honestly. Then I have other sinking funds for municipal taxes that honestly for me it's shocking that as a renter I have to pay, but hey, who am I? Who am I to debate with the status quo that I found here? I also want to save up for like a travel fund because I want to do a little bit of traveling during summer just to see a little bit more of like Europe. So I'm gonna save up like €1,000 for that. Municipal taxes, saving €1,000. It is my second year in the South, which is crazy. It's crazy to say that it's my second year here, but it is my second year here. And I know that there's a possibility that my landlord might not want to give me a new contract because maybe they want to increase the rent, whatever. And I've heard that that's a very common occurrence in the Netherlands. So I just want to be prepared for that in case I have to move. So I'm saving €1,000 just for moving costs. So for movers to come and take the furniture to whatever new place I end up living in if I have to move. If I don't have to move, I honestly like where I live, I would stay. And then the last thing I'm saving for is beauty stuff. This is a very new one for me. Beauty is not something that I have taken very seriously in the past, in the sense of putting my money towards it a lot. I've always spent begrudgingly when it comes to anything that I felt like was like for beauty, because I was like, oh my gosh, am I wasting money? I kind of bought into that whole societal idea that spending on beauty is a waste of money. I think I'm in a position now financially where I can spend on beauty just a little bit. So I'm going to try and save up €1,000, actually €800 for that, in a sinking fund. So that's obviously not going to be like saved up to one point. It's just €800 that I'm going to be saving up slowly throughout the year, but dipping into that money, of course, when I want to get my hair done, if I want to get my nails done, whatever it is. This is a long video. Doing this yearly budget exercise is the reason that I'm able to actually identify all of these different expenses and have a very realistic outlook of what my finances will look like this year. It feels like a very realistic picture. And granted, you cannot predict everything that's going to happen, but I am prepared for the unknown in the sense that I have an emergency fund, I have medical insurance, I have other insurances to cover certain things. And just to add as well, on a month to month basis, I am also budgeting for fun. So I have money set aside for me to spend on whatever I want. And I call this my F around money. And I love it. I read about the concept in Manage Your Money Like a Effing Grown Up, and it is something that I have lived by ever since. When it comes to the investment side of things, which is honestly my favorite part, the most exciting part, I am hoping and realistically aiming to save like €20,000 this year by the end of the year. So I'll be saving every single month. Not saving actually, I'll be investing every single month. So I'm not going to save up the entire amount and then invest at the end of the year. No, I'll be saving each and every month a little bit. So super excited for that. I was actually hoping for 24,000, but I think 20,000 is the most realistic that I can aim for. If I get more, that would be awesome because I'm always trying to get more. So that is what I'll be investing. And my investment plan is very uncomplicated. I will be investing in a tax-free savings account every single month. I will also be investing in my taxable brokerage account. I'm going to aim to max out the contribution at 36,000 rands because that's all you're allowed to contribute. And then the rest I'll just put into my taxable brokerage account. Outside of that, though, I am going to invest in my Dutch pension fund. You are obligated to do that here. And I try to max that out as well. I think last year I was contributing €400 a month. So I'll probably be doing the same thing. When it comes to what I actually invest, that's going to stay relatively the same. I am going to stick to investing in ETFs, and that is my plan for my investments. It's a very simple plan. Invest in ETFs every single month. When everything is said and done, at the end of 2025, I am aiming and hoping to save 50% of my income. that is a very high target, but it feels realistic. And if I don't hit 50% and I land on 40%, then I will be pleased either way, because 40% is still a huge chunk to be able to save in 1 year. So I'm so excited to see how this year pans out. I will try and share how I am doing month to month on over on TikTok or Instagram. So if you're not following me there, make sure to follow me there at it's THANDO NDLOVU. And if you are also interested in just trying out doing the yearly budget, then be sure to check out the free template that I have in the description. So I hope that seeing my personal finances and me being vulnerable today will help you to think about your money a little bit differently. And if you are thinking or considering doing the yearly budget yourself, you can use the free template in the description below. It is completely free. It's on Notion, which will also allow you to create an account for free. So yeah, that is all for today's video, guys. I'm so excited for this year and I can feel it. It's gonna be an amazing year for you, for me, for all our finances. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.